does Jay Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly?
Say what now? Not Jaguar Wright exposing Beyonce and Jay Z for allegedly keeping bodies in their house. And Jay Z apparently selling Diddy out to the feds. Chill, y'all better get in here and grab yourself a chair for this mess, because this mess with Diddy is just getting more and more intense by the minute. And Jaguar Wright is on top of it. This comes after she went on national television and revealed that Beyonce and Jay Z has allegedly been unaliving people and keeping the bodies in their house for some depraved rituals. But she wasn't done with just that, y'all. She also alleged that Jay Z has been in contact with the feds for years now, and that he was the one who was allegedly funding the investigation into Diddy so he could protect himself from getting incriminated. Baby, I don't know where Jaguar getting all this information from, but our girl was brave enough to throw these allegations around on national television with millions of people tuned in. So she gotta have some sort of evidence to back it up when ish hits the fan. Now, before we get into it, I want y'all to know Jaguar hasn't given any proof to support these wild claims. So we can't sit here and say for certain that it's true. But one thing about Jaguar, she's never been wrong a day in her life. So I advise y'all to take this with a pinch of salt. Okay, so the entire mess went down just a few days ago when Jaguar was invited as a guest on the Piers Morgan show, Piers Morgan Uncensored. This was a huge platform for Jaguar, because it was her first interview on national TV, and she ain't hold back at all from dragging Beyonce and Jay Z for filth and exposing some disturbing things that they allegedly did. Jaguar accused Jay Z and Beyonce of being a nasty, dirty couple with skeletons in their closet. She said Jay Z was the one who pumped millions of dollars into funding the investigation of R. Kelly so that the heat wouldn't catch up to him, and he's allegedly doing the same thing to Diddy right now. She also said she currently has 3 victims in her possession who are willing to testify in court about what Jay Z and Beyonce allegedly did to them. She said Jay and Beyonce allegedly drew people till they fell unconscious, then flew them to their house to do whatever they please with them. Jaguar also claims that there are bodies in Beyonce and Jay's house and that Jay had a hand in Aaliyah's death.
Publicly, Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail. Get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding that Dream Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter? They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly? This is insane that people keep refusing to see what's right there.
How many victims potentially do you think there could be?
Thousands. Thousands. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will. Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about, Piers.
She also said that these are all things that Diddy's gonna be revealing in court once this trial starts, and that anybody who thinks otherwise ain't paying attention.
If the Me Too movement were real, why aren't they speaking now? They've also been very quiet in this time of the diddler's downfall.
Jaguar,
guess they're on vacation.
If this goes to court, Jaguar, do you think the world is going to be shocked by what comes out?
Oh, absolutely. I just don't know why they are. It's been happening in front of everyone's faces for decades. for decades.
How many victims?
What's the difference between me and Judy Garland?
These allegations shook the entire internet, and people couldn't help but bring up the fact that Jay and Beyonce were extremely close to Diddy. Not only that, but people brought up a song called Daughter from Beyonce's recent album Cowboy Carter, in which she details possibly unaliving somebody after she caught the person sleeping with her husband. In the song, Beyonce gave real graphic details about how her partner, and the bedroom attendant, who was a huge fan of her, cleared up the scene. In the song, Beyonce talked about how everyone thinks she's this sweet, innocent damsel in distress, when she's actually just as sick as her father. The lyrics read, "Your body laid out on these filthy floors, your blood stains on my custom coutures. Bathroom attendant let me right in, she was a big fan. I really tried to stay cool, but your arrogance disturbed my solitude. Now I ripped your dress and you're all black and blue. Look what you made me do." They keep saying that I ain't nothing like my father, but I'm the furthest thing from choir boys and altars. If you cross me, just like my father, I'm colder than Titanic water. She added, "Help me, Lord, from these fantasies in my head. They ain't never been safe ones. Did my best impression of a damsel in distress, this alcohol and smell of regret." Now this may just be a dark song that Beyonce and her writers came up with in the studio, but folks are convinced that this was a real subtle confession from her about what she and Jay Z allegedly did to his pregnant mistress, Kathy White. At the time of Kathy's death, the pathologist concluded that she had died from a brain aneurysm. But Jaguar Wright had something else to say, and she accused J and B of allegedly taking Kathy out. Jaguar first spoke on this during an IG Live last year, where she said, "The claims about Kathy dying from a brain aneurysm were a lie, and that Kathy was actually brutally K-worded in her own house." According to Jaguar, Jay decided to take Kathy out because Beyonce found out about the affair, and she was planning on taking matters into her own hands if Jay ain't do it.
Kathy White's life was taken unfairly. She actually died screaming, and the Carters are responsible. But one of them is just a little more responsible than the other. Question is, did Sean Carter delete his mistress, his pregnant mistress, because his wife was jealous? Or could it be possible that maybe his wife's temper is just a little worse than most people think? And maybe he just had to clean it up to protect the brand's sake. I mean, I'm just speculating.
As if these allegations ain't wild enough, Jaguar later appeared in another interview, and this time, she ain't only accused Beyonce of being responsible for Kathy's death, she also said Beyonce allegedly faked her pregnancy, and that Blue Ivy is possibly the kid that Kathy was carrying when she was unalived.
Claudia Jordan right now. Claudia Jordan don't ever mention my mother name. She mentioned it yesterday. Talking about why people are afraid to come forward. You mean like you? You was Diddy girl. Corey was Jay Z girl. Why don't you claim your friend? Claudia.
So Jack, when you say...
When I say Corey, I'm talking about Kathy White.
Oh yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Jay-Z's pregnant mistress,
yeah,
who died of an imaginary aneurysm. Just like the woman who was best friends with Kim and Kimura, who wrote the book Bling and died as soon as it made the bestsellers list. Who the was these people supposed to go to? You can't go to the boss because the boss is f***ing you. And the boss's boss don't get no Can't go to the authorities. They're all bought and paid for. You could try to get a special prosecutor, but they'll just pay somebody to reassign him to another case. Where the fuck you go when you get f***ed over by the industry? Nowhere. That's where you go nowhere, which is where people like me step in. I go to Diddy parties. To walk mother out. Cause ain't nobody stopping me when I come. You, Sean.
Hey, man.
Weirdo.
Oof.
I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever. All I do is frustrate your AI. You can't quantify me. You can't even control your wife. You gonna handle a bitch like me. You can't even control that goofy bitch. You should have did a better job. Maybe she wouldn't have had to lose her mind on Kathy. Cause you ain't protecting you. You're protecting her. Wonder why?
People also came across this investigative article by Hollywood Street King, in which he took it upon himself to investigate the real cause of Kathy's death, made back in the day, and he spilled some major tea. Hollywood Street King was actually the first one who broke the story about Kathy and Jay's affair, so he knew the real, and he suspected it was foul play the minute it was announced she was dead. The article read, "Yesterday, I got the news that Kathy Michelle White had suddenly passed away, so I quickly began my investigation, and guess what? Kathy did not die from a brain aneurysm as reported wildly around the internet today. According to an NYPD detective who told me, Kathy's cause of death is uncertain, and later today, we will have the autopsy and toxicology reports. Right now, the death is considered suspicious. Kathy White died exactly 1 year to the day from when I broke her story of her and Jay Z's affair." He added, "A 911 call came in from an apartment on 130 West 19th Street in Manhattan. The ambulance came and took Kathy because she was sick. They took her to Beth Israel Hospital, and that's where she expired. It was too early to be speculating that an aneurysm killed her. They will be doing an autopsy later today to check out her cause of death. But someone might have given Kathy a bad so they'll do a toxicology, and we'll have to wait 2 weeks for that report." 2 weeks prior to her death, Kathy was contacted by a major tabloid that was investigating the Jay Z connection. She gave them little information to go on, but according to one of our sources, following her conversation with the tabloid, she called Jay and told him that she was going to go public with their affair for a price. This all happened in the last 2 weeks. Then, little more than 48 hours after the announcement that Beyonce was pregnant with Jay's baby, this young lady suddenly dies under suspicious circumstances. He also added these photos of Claudia Jordan and Kathy cutting it up with Jay in the club, just months before her death. Apparently, Kathy was best friends with Claudia, and it was actually Claudia who introduced Kathy to Jay. Chill, the receipts are receipting, y'all. And of course, who can forget about DaBaby recently exposing Jay and Beyonce for having a secret meeting in Diddy's house along with other powerful people in the industry.
I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay Z and Beyonce being, you know, 2 of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in
right
at the moment, you know. And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to.
Right.
Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop de whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was dope. That was super dope.
Once again, I'd like to remind y'all, this is all alleged information, and I'm just here to report the tea. As usual, people had their own thoughts about this. Like this person who said, "I'm so happy Jag is finally being taken seriously and able to tell her truth on an even bigger platform. No one's spared. I believe every single word she said on his platform loud and clear and alluded very directly to Beyonce. My goodness, things are so deep." Another person said, "Somebody hide Jaguar. She's spilling beans on people that may not take the truth. She's speaking too kindly. Jaguar a real one. But now I want to know your thoughts. What do y'all think about Jaguar exposing Beyonce and Jay on national TV? And do y'all think the accusations that she made about them are true? Y'all been knew what to do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other very messy video.